If you want to learn how to better edit, you're going to want to watch the 1925 film Battleship Potemkin, where director Sergei Eisenstein experiments with 5 different types of editing in the Soviet montage theory to great effect. Battleship Potemkin is a dramatization of a real-life mutiny that occurred during the Russo-Japanese War on a Russian battleship in 1905. Filmed shortly after the Bolsheviks consolidated power, winning the Russian Civil War, Battleship Potemkin portrayed this 1905 mutiny as a precursor to the efforts of the newly victorious political regime in Russia. Pulling from Marxist theory, Eisenstein didn't focus on just individual characters, but instead had a mass protagonist of this proletariat unified against the abuses of power. One could even argue that the main character of the film is not a person at all and is instead Eisenstein's unique editing style. Eisenstein theorized there were 5 types of editing styles in Soviet montage theory, and he uses all of them to great effect in Battleship Potemkin. The first editing style is metrical, means cutting each shot to the very same length in a sequence. For example, having a string of shots that are all 3 seconds or 60 frames long. Editing is focused on pace, not allowing the actions in a shot to dictate when and where to cut. Rhythmic editing is the most common, where you cut based on the action in a shot. For example, if 2 characters are having a conversation, you usually cut to the second person after the first person has finished speaking. Tonal and overtonal are pretty similar, where you cut based on emotions. The tonal speaking to the emotion of specific shots, and overtonal to the emotion of a complete sequence of shots together. With these styles, you're matching together different shots with similar tones. For example, you might cut from a shot of the sun to a fire, where the connecting bridge between those two is warmth or heat, having that same emotion as you're watching it. The last editing style is the one associated most with Eisenstein, intellectual editing, which is bringing together different images to create a deeper meaning that aren't inherent in the individual shots alone. A great example of intellectual editing in Battleship Potemkin is when Eisenstein cuts between the mutinied sailors attacking the abusive soldiers at Odessa with different shots of a lion statue. Putting these 3 different lion statues together makes it look like the statue is rising up. Intercut with images of the sailors and the people fighting back. Eisenstein is telling us through montage that the proletariat, once a sleeping giant, has now woken up and is ready to fight for its rights. In this scene and many others in Battleship Potemkin, Eisenstein's powerful editing style relies solely on the visual image to convey complex emotions and ideas. In large part because of Eisenstein's revolutionary editing style that is becoming ingrained in the everyday language of film over a century later, Battleship Potemkin was voted number 9 on Silent Era's Top 100 Silent Movies list, and I definitely agree that with how influential it is, it definitely deserves a spot here on this list. Next up in the Silent Era's Top 100 series, I'll be looking at a staple of 1910 cinema, Cecil B. DeMille's The Cheat.